So the grandparent.
1917.
That's the year you were born.
Never can forget that. I was born too.
No, so your grandfather died the year you were born.
No, yeah, her grandfather did. And then Aunt Ethel was his daughter.
Old maid.
No, she always said she was a damn old maid.
Like intentionally?
Yeah.
So do you remember Annie B., your grandmother?
Yeah.
She died at 41.
Sure.
I don't
do.
remember, of course. But
I made dinners for them and go down to come to Rabbit and get her and bring her up home. Yeah.
I can remember Aunt Ethel.
That's how she laughed.
Yeah.
Bye.
And she had long sleeve dresses and she kept her handkerchief stuffed up her sleeve and she would pull it out and she'd blow her nose and then she'd shove it back in there.
At the breakfast table.
At the table. And she drank lace coffee and she measured it with a fork.
Did you ever hear of Lacey coffee?
No.
You put a teaspoonful of whiskey in your coffee.
But she measured it with a fork.
Oh,
And
so the
you-
teaspoon was a generous teaspoon.
Yeah. She had it so strong it would raise your hand up.
So do they have a farm too, the Kellys?
They live right at the corner of Railroad down here.
So what did he do?
Oh,
We
sure.
live
My grandpa Kelly had a farm.
Right, okay.
But we're
Which one is your grandpa, Kelly?
Clarence,
Clarence?
Well, that
your
was,
daddy.
This is his mother.
Yeah, but didn't great grandpa, didn't he have a farm sometime too before that? Or how come grandpa became a farmer?
Now that night you're dragging me back over something I don't know exactly. We never did talk about things when we was growing up like that.
You just always had a farm as far as you knew.
Now Aunt Ethel died in 1965. Yeah, bless her heart.
I was going to school over at St. Catherine's and there she died.
So,
Will you come home to the
Aunt Ethel.
funeral? No.
so so Ethel
George
was
Laban.
Clarence's sister.
George Laban Kelly. And Edith Ann, Ethel Ann. Annie Bell was her name.
And that's where Aunt Annabelle got her name.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
1856. And he was born in
1849 he was born.
Woo!
He was 7 years older than
Well,
her.
let's go.
There you go. Okay.
First two were built up on what's called the Old House Hill.
Old
Up
House
at-
Hill.
At,
That's
at
creative.
the end of the cornfield.
Okay.
There are bricks here from the chimney from the old house.
Okay. That are used in this one or just here?
They're just here. I have 5 or 6 of those bricks incorporated in my brick house.
Okay.
Daddy gave them to me whenever I built my house. So I had them put in different places in my house so that I would have a piece of the original
House. Okay.
But
And those-
I don't know what happened to the original houses. One of them burnt. The very original log cabin house burnt.
Which is pretty common.
And then after that, the second one, I don't know what happened to it other than they had to move from it for some reason or other.
Did people build houses or did you make them?
Now this is built from lumber on the farm.
Oh.
The main lumber in this house is yellow poplar.
Okay.
Very resistant to termites, but not 100%.
Okay.
And
But there was actually enough. They mill it, bring it to a mill and mill the lumber and bring it back, or they do it all on site.
can't answer that, I wasn't here.
Remember, sure. And of course, you added the garage is added.
The garage was added, and it was all sided back then. gray house,
Yeah.
whitish gray house right there. That's Aunt Ethel's.
Grandmother Aunt Ethel.
Actually, it was grandmother's house. Aunt Ethel lived with her.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a crepe myrtle. I bet I
And
said
she stayed there after grandmother passed away.
Yes.
that was the biggest day of our week. Was first Friday. We got to come to grandmother's and Aunt Ethel's to eat breakfast. Oh, and of course they would go over their budget to get something good for us to eat.
This is during the summer, or were you in school during the? Were you early
What?
before school? You went on every Friday, or just?
Yeah,
during-
every Friday of the year.
What time was church?
Yeah, first Friday. That made 12, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we had that other one too, Mike. 4 days. What was that?
First Saturdays,
Yeah, first Saturdays.
and then we actually back in those days you had 40 hours.
Now they have 40 minutes.
Yeah, about it.
40 hours of what?
It was a service where you
Yeah,
had the
pray
exposed Blessed
and-
Sacrament for 40 hours.
Was that like a perpetual adoration, but it's
For 40 hours.
40 hours?
And you left the church open for the full 40 hours, and somebody was supposed to be there
At all.
at all times during those 40 hours.
Oh, that's great.
What's your name?
Nana Mae.
She was Kelly.
I know.
Have you heard that?
Yes, I know you.
Oh, well, I'll declare. Wait till I tell Mary who I saw.
Well,
And she was living. She was in the cemetery, but she was living.
yeah.
As far as that, you know those people, you know.
Oh,
Well, you're surprised who you know whenever you introduce yourself.
That's right, that's right. Regardless where you are.
I can go to Louisville, and I see so many people from Marion County that it's not even funny.
Well, we go a lot of different places. We see people in California
oh my goodness.
and D.C. and it's just everywhere we go, Las Vegas.
Well, these are from Maryland.
We're down from Baltimore.
Oh, good.
You remember? My
she
mother
does-
don't get a
yeah,
little bit.
Yeah,
So is that your aunt? Did
yeah.
we get the?
It's mine.
Okay.
There was 3 of them.
Now, which one was your mother?
Blanche.
Aunt
Blanche. Aunt Blanche.
And Aunt
Okay.
Regina
I've heard
was
of Aunt Blanche. I've got a daughter named Regina,
Yeah.
but I didn't. And I named her, and then found out later that I had an Aunt Regina.
Yeah, that,
I can't remember Mariola.
Well, she died in 26.
no, you wasn't born to 33, I guess.
That wouldn't be a
Well, don't
good,
jive, does
good
it?
memory.
But I remember him.
Yeah.
You remember?
Both of my grandparents, my dad's father and my grandfather Kelly, both died in 55.
But I do remember him.
Yeah.
And I remember you.
Yeah.
She's easy to remember. She's hard to forget, I should say, right?
Yes, indeedy.
She's got a few descendants. There's
Yeah.
about 108 and 9 of us now.
189. That's a pretty good bunch.
108 or 9.
Yeah,
All
Not
right.
189.
I haven't counted them lately. Like
Sure do.
she got a brother that got over 100 in his family. They live in Illinois. Ernest,
Ernest.
he's got over 100.
Buddy, Ernest.
But
Melvin.
Melvin's dead.
What's the matter? No,
She's
we were
gonna
just
ask you some questions. Filling in.
All right.
we were just wondering as we walked around and found out some
That's all I know of Mike. Said Angela. Said Angela.
Okay.
Still warm outside?
No, it's lovely.
It's warm,
but
it's not hot
There we go. Not too bright for you?
No.
Oh, we only have 23 minutes of battery left.
Okay, well, I don't think she wants to talk much more than that. And we were talking about, I was asking about your... You go? No, it's fine. So he showed us some of the gravestones, and some of the names came up. So we got back just to Bessie and Ben D. that lived with you, right?
Elizabeth was her name.
But everyone, did people call her Bessie?
Miss Bessie.
Miss Bessie.
Bessie.
Mary Elizabeth. And he was saying that Charles L. came back from the Civil War.
Charles L. I don't know what the L's are.
Lingard.
Lyndon. La?
Lingard.
Lingard, yeah.
L-I-N-G-A-R-D, I
Yeah, I
think.
heard that too.
Came back and married
Susan Mattingly.
after he came back from the Civil War and all that stuff, was still able. Then he had Bendy, Angela,
That's all we know of.
right,
That's all we know of. I think that was all of them.
and then there were just the two of them. Okay, and then when Bendy met Mary Elizabeth here,
Who was a Johnson,
okay, Mary Elizabeth Johnson.
whose mother was a Hamilton.
Did they marry and move in here?
Yes.
Bessie.
Didn't he?
Miss-
Mom, Mr. Bendy and Miss Bessie lived here all their married life, didn't they?
Yeah, I reckon, yes, because they come back to take care of somebody.
Charles L.
Some of them.
He was saying that Mary Elizabeth or Miss Bessie would do go help people during if they needed help for convalescence or hospice or what, like almost like nursing to
And
help.
she'd go around and help people that were sick and
Grandma
dying
Bessie,
and
yeah. Grandma Bessie did. She was a, I don't know what you would call her.
kind of a midwife, housewife,
Well, not her.
early.
She helped out with anybody that needed her.
This
Or
is
she
what-
just
this is what-
volunteer work, I called it.
That's
oh,
all it
so this,
was, yeah.
this is more when she
Yeah.
was retired, not
She
that
didn't
she
get
was
no
raising a
money for it.
family.
She just volunteered to do it.
Or just all along.
As long as I could remember.
Okay,
And I was born in '46.
so that's a few
You
years.
didn't know much about the other older ones.
Mhm.
So so you, yeah, I didn't realize until I guess I'd heard it before that when you married Henry in '37, you actually didn't live here. You
Did for a while.
lived
And
here
they
for.
lived gone for how long? How many months?
3 or 4.
Was it 3 or 4 or 9?
Oh, it wasn't that long.
Okay.
But you went.
And we come out, we was over there. Well, Hazel was born over here. We got back just a month before she was born.
And that was in 1940, in October, November. So you went just those few months there, and then came back and took over the farm. Yeah. Wow. And then been here ever since.
Yes.
Been here ever since. Right? You've
Been
lived-
here ever since. And
Yes, 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 ma'am. Ever since. And that's right.
I was looking at your flowers, and he was showing me some of the ones that you had planted more recently. The Naked Ladies and the showed me Grandpa Kelly's rose bush.
Yes, yes.
I didn't. So your dad was a big gardener
They're
too.
all been going around a long time.
Yeah, well, I did definitely. I'm not the green thumb. I can't grow too
She
much.
is.
I know you can
What?
grow things well. Your green
Uh-huh.
thumb.
She can stick a popsicle in the ground, stick in the ground and grow popsicle.
Henry always said he didn't want me standing in the bare place very long. I'd
Take root.
That was an awful way to think about me. But I would find a bare spot, I'd stick something in it.
And then grow. Yeah.
That was luck, that wasn't anything else.
Oh no, I think a lot of people try and it doesn't work. I don't think my mom got much of the green thumb. Well, she claims she didn't. She can grow a few things, but definitely is not the same.
Yeah, that's right.
So the flower gardens are all. Did you put them all in? Most of the flower gardens. He was saying like was Mary Elizabeth or Miss Bessie much of a garden?
What?
Did Grandma have any flower gardens and stuff? No, did
No.
she?
No. So
No. And dogs down here in this part of it. He had old coon dogs.
Bird dogs.
Bird dogs, yeah.
for hunting,
For hunting?
they weren't pets.
Yes.
No, they weren't. They had 2 house dogs or pet, Cutie and Mo Boo.
Mr. Boo and Cutie.
And they were little dogs?
Rat terriers.
Okay.
Cute little dogs.
Most likely part Jack Russell Terrier.
I
Okay.
think
They used to take them over the country to people that had barns that were infested with rats, and they'd use them to kill the rats.
And they'd go for it.
Yeah.
They were working dogs.
Yes.
They get to come and be the. But that was when you you remember these dogs, or it was before?
I remember Cutie, but I don't remember the rest of them.
You know Mr. Boo?
Johnny had
Mr. Boo.
Mr. Boo as his buddy.
He was a pet dog. I hated him, but he was pet. You know, I have the baby's bottles in the refrigerator. And Johnny was with me. I put his bottle out, shut the door, and he wore diapers. And I caught his britches in the door, and I just, like, to never got him to hear me. I kept calling him to come in here. And there he stood, couldn't get off, and Mr. Boo was sitting right by him.
Because he knew he needed help?
Huh?
Because he was eating the bottle, or because he knew he was
No,
stuck?
I just opened the door and let his britches off.
Tell him about how Johnny washed Mr. Boo.
Oh, yeah. She ought to remember a few things that happened around here.
She can't
But anyway,
remember that.
we had a kittle pole out there in the back.
Where we rendered fat from the hogs to make
Yes.
lard.
Okay.
And
Cracklins and chitlins.
Johnny we'd get after him to wash his dog because it was stinking, you know. So one day it was started raining, he went out and hitched him to that kittle post and gave him a shower.
Bad.
Oh,
With him.
my Lord, have mercy.
You know, the story that I remember that you told was about Mom and the, well, she claims it was attributed to her, but it wasn't her. And the rag in the septic system
Yeah.
that backed up the whole,
Daddy said the next one did that was gonna do the digging.
When he was showing me that the porch above the window there is actually a door, and he and my dad fixed the door, and he said that Hazel walked out on it and sleepwalking one night, and then it was locked up after that. And was she a girl or was she more of a teenager? Hazel.
When was that? How old was Hazel whenever she was sleepwalking and walked out on the porch?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
She wasn't a teenager yet, was she?
Not hardly, I don't think.
So
But gosh, I think that's when we started putting the bed across there.
Yeah, it was fixed where it couldn't be opened anymore.
Well, she'd get up and walk around like she was upstairs, of course, and I was downstairs. You know, I didn't know what was going on.
I tend to get up at night too, so maybe that's genetic. I'm pretty good now, but I will wake up and not know what's going on and talk to Scott and go back to sleep, and then I won't remember it at all. But I make sure I wake him up nice and good before I go back to bed.
But they say if you fall in your sleep like that, you will hurt yourself.
Really? Because you're so
That's
relaxed?
what they tell me when I would tell them about Hazel sleepwalking. But I don't know
If you
about
walked off that front porch out there in the middle of the night and all that rock and stuff out there, I'm not so sure you wouldn't hurt yourself a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's the one when Johnny carried his stroller over the big rocks and put it down and get in it and wide. Honestly.
So they could keep themselves. It's funny, we talk about Sean and Cole when they're on
Couldn't
computers a lot
walk.
now.
No, he couldn't walk. He'd get out there and he'd squat down and sit down.
Oh, he wanted to be pushed.
So I just have to
No, he had one of those things, a walker type, stroller type thing, and
Yeah,
he would
see,
just
didn't it?
take off, they said.
Yeah.
And as long as he had something supporting his bottom, he'd go anywhere he wanted to. But then they tried to get him to walk without that walker. He just sat down.
He sat down, you know, just go. He couldn't use it and then. Oh, well.
And then once he started walking, he never stopped, huh?
And he's still working.
That's
Yes.
true. And you set upstairs. Was it the girls' room and the boys' room? There's only 2 boys, so you had your own room.
I had my own room majority of my time here.
What?
Johnny left in 1956 and spent 2 years in the service, came back, spent less than a year, went to IBM, and that was it. He never was back home again other than just weekends.
And so you got the St. Charles room.
Yeah.
Here, and then the girls would all be in the St. Mary's room or the hallway. Because I like to share. He gets there
Yes.
himself.
I had, well, the beds were still up there, just like the kids left them. But Agnes was kind of messy with her side of the house. It's Hazel. Hazel got a big string and put between the beds all across the room for she halved it off. So
So she wouldn't keep it. So she could keep it neat.
She'd keep her half neat.
oh, Lordy. Keep her safe.
And then Teeny and Mom slept in the same room too.
This is
There was 2 double beds, and they
2
Four
bunk beds
girls.
in each room and one
and
in
Suzanne was a lot younger than the rest of them. And by the time Suzanne got up big enough to,
Agnes was gone.
Agnes was gone.
So you see, they just,
See, Agnes is 9 years older than Suzanne.
Okay.
Johnny's 8 years older than I am.
Okay.
So there's 10 years, lacking 2 months of being 10 years between the oldest and the youngest.
Okay. So by the time she was up there, did she sleep? The baby sleeping with Grandma when they were little, or they didn't do
They
that?
slept down here in that room with y'all, didn't they?
oh yes.
Just till they were big enough, or just until you had space
So
for
they had
them?
a room for them, place to go. I don't ever remember very many of them sleeping in the old bed in the hall. Every now and then somebody, Lula'd come home, would she sleep up there?
Hazel was born in
Yeah,
the
but
middle.
I remember people trying to sleep in at night.
You go right
It's got-
to the middle.
It's got corn shucks, is what was in it to sleep on.
Mattress.
Oh. So it was just
It wasn't comfortable.
it was just
no,
there as an
But
extra.
you go to the bottom of it. Those ropes would grip when you got in it.
So
Isn't
just
that true?
it was just put there for an extra bed in case somebody needed it.
Lula
It's
slept
just-
there some whenever she'd come stay with us.
Yeah, yeah.
But this room was a bedroom too because you still had Miss Bessie and Bendy.
This was the bedroom, right where you're at.
Oh, okay.
And parlor in there was bedroom, where
It's
Mom
a
was at now.
bedroom Yeah.
So the family gathering space would be
Kitchen,
the kitchen, and then the dining room was the dining room.
dining room.
So that's just you ate there. You didn't really gather there.
No, we ate in the kitchen.
So everyone just went their own space, or you're busy all the time.
We were gone. You were either working. If you weren't working, I was hunting and fishing, and the girls were whatever they did. They read a lot, didn't they, Mom?
Yeah.
And they helped in the house. They kept
Oh, yeah.
things clean. Agnes helped at the barn, and she thought because she worked at the barn, she had to do it at the house.
Oh, that was her interpretation of things, huh?
But she was the tomboy of the bunch. She showed cattle, and she'd ride the Billy, which is the spotted horse you asked what the
Okay.
name was,
There you go.
out to the field to get the cattle, milk cows, and bring them in.
Because she's more
And
outdoors.
she was just outdoorsy type, wasn't she, Mom?
Agnes.
Yeah.
Agnes.
And then you have
Hazel and Teeny.
Hazel, Teeny, and
Wash
Biscuit.
the dishes and done things like that.
And
in
then
the house.
they fought over who had to do the dishes.
Oh. Well, Teeny never did get them done till midnight.
That was her job, though. She left it for her, huh?
Yes.
And so, well, Mom was only a year younger than Teeny, right?
A
Bitsy?
little more than a year.
Well, January, October. It's
to
almost 2
October,
years.
almost. And then there's almost 3 years between Bitsy and I.
Right. Then you get another
2 years
2
between
years.
Suzanne
So 5
and I.
between,
But the first ones were a little closer than that.
right. Got to jump on things. What'd you say? The stronger the storm,
The quicker the storm, the quicker the calm.
the quicker the storm, the quicker the
Well,
calm.
I'm telling you.
So what kind of jobs did Mom have? Was she just certain things the girls all were told to do?
Well, I don't know. It
Just whatever the work needed to be done?
whatever needed to be done or whatever they had to do, so forth and so on.
I wasn't in the house enough to tell you what they did.
So I can imagine he was showing me where hen house was and such.
Getting busy at school.
Yeah, because they all went through high school.
Yeah, we had 12 years here within a mile of the house.
Yeah.
What?
12 years of school within a mile of the house.
That's right.
And the last 4 years, I walked to school every day.
Just because they're doing other things and you get.
I could get there quicker than I could on the bus. And Bitsy was a senior when I was a freshman. And somebody asked her why she didn't walk to school with Mike. She said, I want to run. I'll go with Mike. End of discussion.
So I guess she never came with you, huh? It's gonna be you and Cole.
But no, we had a good life.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. And
We think about my dad went there too from way over from Calvary. It was drew from a big distance.
yeah, it was almost Marion County's school before Marion County was built.
Gotcha.
Because it got people from Holy Cross, some of the St. Francis area, down below Raywick, Calvary, all basically went to St. Charles. And then the people up in the Lebanon area went to Lebanon High School. A few went to St. A.
Okay.
And the majority of the Loretta people that could afford it went to St. Francis Catholic School down there.
Okay. Because they didn't have a. Is it like it's
St. Charles was not a Catholic school. It was a public school with a Catholic name.
And run by you had teachers
It
were
had
nuns.
nuns most of the time. I had the lion's share of my teachers through school were nuns. But I had male teachers, I had female teachers, and two. One of Leona's kin folks was one of my teachers, Mr. Ben Browning.
Okay.
His mother and Leona's grandmother were sisters.
Okay.
So.
Well, these
And Leona came down here to St. Charles for 4 years to get typing and bookkeeping, which weren't offered at St. A.
so she just came down for those classes.
No, she came down for 4 years of school down here because she couldn't get them at St. A.
Is that how you met her?
That's where I met her. I met her as a freshman, but I didn't start dating her until I was a senior.
Okay.
October the 6th, 1963 was our first date. And we went to a movie over in Springfield with another couple.
And then never looked back from there.
I never dated anybody else after that. She didn't either.
Now was she your grade?
Yes.
Okay, I thought she was younger, but
No, we were classmates. And,
well, actually, did Johnny met Mary Frances at school? No.
many years after he got out of service.
Oh, see, okay. Carl and Agnes met through.
Carl went to St. Joe and Bardstown,
Okay.
and Agnes went to St. Charles. And where did they meet, Mama? How did they meet? I don't know. Do you know how Agnes and Carl met? Where?
I do not know.
So-
And then, of course, the others all met at school.
Yeah.
Teeny and Dan and Bitsy and Jerry and Suzanne and Philip.
All met at St. Charles. Yep. You can go ahead and plug it in if you want to stop it.
7,
So 10 years into the. Yeah,
and then
15.
somewhere in around 39 or 40, Daddy took over the home farm.
Oh, so after they were married.
Yeah.
So the first few years they
He
didn't live-
he was there, left, went over and Agnes, I think, was born whenever they were about, there's some deal in there with Agnes and over on Aunt Catherine, who is Grandma Cecil's sister-in-law, her farm
Okay.
over in Washington County, and he was there for about 9 months, or give or take a little bit,
Okay.
and then he was asked to come back and run the home farm
Gotcha.
till present, until he died.
And then the other brother, one of them.
Oh.
And then I was in Lewis around. The other one, Annabelle.
Annabelle buried St. A. and Lou was still alive.
And Mama's still up.
Yeah. You see a lot of names from our families you walk around? Caldwell, Luckett.
Look at the Mattingleys. That's all of our kinfolk way back when. But these aren't. I can't tie any of these in, but I know they're kinfolk. I can tie one down here in.
What are these?
John G. Mattingly. That is your great-great-grandmother Susan Mattingly's father.
Okay. So my
And
great
Susan's
great
is Charles L's wife.
Okay.
And Charles L. is Ben D's daddy. And they're all down here too, just a little further down. Can you get into the date?
But you said they're not doing that well.
No, they got into them, the weed eaters.
Oh.
You know, they first started weed eating. We told them not to get too close to him. Well, he got sick. He had a guy, his brother-in-law came in to help him, and his brother-in-law didn't get the message so they barked him, and they killed over half of them, as you can see.
So
There's
this.
my tomatoes.
So this is the pear tree. The one
Yeah, that's the normal pear tree, and that's the ginkgo tree.
Because that one was the one that was built the same year or the year after the house was built.
All the
They
pear
planted.
tree was here before the house was.
Okay. And the ginkgo is something that people.
Mama planted.
A little.
Little.
So it's what, 50 years old, or more like.
John Byers. There's 4 acres in here that was sold off.
A lens cap was on.
They belonged to Uncle Junior. And his widow, whenever he died, sold it to Joe Mattingly, who is some more of our kinfolk.
Okay.
And there's a fence line right down through here where the new property line is, right down the holler.
Right down there.
Yeah.
So this is all it's Sean.
And it goes back. See a fence line right over the hill here. See it running across the top of them.
Oh yeah.
Through there. That's one of the back fence lines.
And they just changed it.
That's Miss Bessie.
Oh, she decided to.
She was the one that we were Cecil. They were Cecil. End of discussion. She was paying for it.
And she actually wasn't. She married into it.
Yeah, but that's just the way it was. All right, just a bit of history. The 3 Kelly brothers, Mama's 3 brothers are right here side by side by side.
Kelly.
Harry's the oldest, Richard's second, Hughes is the youngest.
Okay.
Now they're Mama's brothers. All deceased. 2 of them's wives are still living. One of them's wife just recently deceased, 2006.
Well, it's actually, it's gonna be warm today, but it's kind of nice right now. That's just a fussy sign. Trying to keep things nice, but fussy nonetheless.
Lewis's daddy is the Thompson right over in here. See, right there. Right
Oh
there
yeah,
by the-
right behind Lampkin.
That's some of Mama's kinfolk too, Lampkin.
All this bugs in the cemetery.
Are these cedars?
They're cedars.
Oh, that's just an ammonia.
Cecil.
That's some of Mama's kinfolk.
Yeah.
Cecil behind you, Mary Agnes.
Cecil, good.
Ed and Regina Cecil. George George.
Harold, George. Yep, they're all on there.
Here's Grandma Kelly.
Woo! That's like one of my shoes.
You said you didn't want it hot, so you get wet or hot.
There we are.
Up here in the shade. Now, right here.
Okay. So we have Clarence Alphonsus.
And there's the date.
1880.
And you were saying that Clarence Marilyn was his third, his father
He was married once.
to Mariola.
Her father, she's the oldest one of 23.
Oh, okay. But of those, who was just 10 living or so.
I don't know exactly, but there's still several. There were several. There's only one surviving, and that's the one she said, Helen. She said
Helen,
Yeah, Helen.
right? So Mariola had
6. She had 3 boys and 3 girls.
no. For her, her mother had,
You said she had 3.
and then when she
And
passed
somebody
away,
in between, her sister married her
Mariola's father
married her aunt. And she had a whole slew of children.
Okay.
And then she died. And then he married a 3rd time, and that wife had 3 children. That was Father Raymond Hughes, and what were the others?
Helen and E.M.
Helen and E.M. And none of those have any children.
Oh, okay.
So that end of the line ended, but Mom and them have carried on the other end pretty good.
And then Mariola met Clarence.
Yeah.
Do you know any stories about how they met? Your mom and dad?
No.
He was in a band.
Oh, I'm a musician.
He was a very skilled musician. He played the violin, clarinet, organ,
Yeah.
and probably didn't he play the harmonica?
No, I don't think so.
He played something else. There were 4 things he played.
There's a lot of music around the house, or too much work to get done?
Yeah, we had a good time. We was all there most of the time till they started leaving home.
Because your brother Hughes is the oldest?
Hughes is the baby.
Oh, I got him back.
A boy. Lula's the baby.
Oh, but we all know
Lou
Lulu
was the baby girl.
Harry's the oldest.
Okay, so
And then
There's
Richard,
there's none on the
Annabelle,
back. There's
Mama,
Uh-huh.
Hughes, and Lula.
None on the back of this.
no,
are
I was looking. There was
Okay.
No, it's just plain Jane.
Well, it looks like around that one's been kept good, hasn't it?
Yeah, somebody kept
Weed eated.
somebody keeps flyers on it. I don't know who
How
does that.
about that?
We've never been contacted to add anything.
No.
nice.
Well, there's, yes, indeed.
And then and Mariola was sick prior, but finally passed away of consumption.
Right, 26.
Now, if you were 9, do you remember any of that?
Oh yeah, she remembers.
Yeah. A lot of it I forgot, though.
She didn't prefer to remember some of it.
All right, that makes sense. And then it's the oldest. Well, no, Annabelle was older than you. But
Yes,
you,
Annabelle was oldest. I was next, and Lulu was the last of the girls. And then there was Harry, Richard, and Hughes.
Harry's birthday is December the 20.
Oh,
something.
4-leaf clover.
No, it's just split, I think.
no,
It's split, but it looks like a 4-leaf.
So then you actually had to step up at 9 and do more stuff.
She went to the 8th grade and stayed home to
But I
keep the
got
rest
a
of the family
diploma
together.
for it. We charged my diploma. didn't
Morning. How are you all?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Just doing fine.
How wet out here is
A little damp. Just enough to keep your feet and your bottom of your britches wet.
yeah, keep your feet warm anyway.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Hello.